Is this working now? My bad. I have been talking to, and I have been muted. My apologies. I thought I had everything set up, but apparently I did not. I will have to fix that. So yeah, I guess now I got to bring people up to speed. I hope everybody's having an awesome week. For me, it's been kind of frustrating. I'm going to have to pay for a new furnace and a new AC. No audio at all. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me bring this up and see if I can fix it live for you guys. It's a good thing I'm working out these bugs right now, huh? Okay. Let's see if this ultimately fixes it. I don't have any background audio right now, but... It also could be that I'm not necessarily that close to the mic. I was trying to relax. My bad. It's low? Okay. Give me a second and I can turn it up. There you go. That should be working a little bit better. In fact, I'll turn it up just a little bit more so I can be my usual bombastic self. How is everybody doing this night? So, yeah, this week has been complicated. I'm gonna have to pay for a whole new AC and furnace for my house because, unfortunately, my current ones have been with the house since it was built, and that's 15 plus years old, so they're very much dead. So I get to look forward to paying out a bunch of money and basically reserving a day where the crews can come in and just replace them basically all day. Like, they're going to be coming in from like 7:30 my time to, I think they were planning on leaving like 4 o'clock. So I've got to make sure that people are out of their way. That's fun. And on top of that, unfortunately, my little girl, my oldest one, came home with, what was it called? Unfortunately, one of the other kids at the therapy center she was at had a case of norovirus. And so, unfortunately, it looks like she has it too. And so she's not having a good day. She spent most of last night just basically, for lack of a better term, throwing up most of the night, and she's not been good since. She's just been very tired. That's kind of why I'm up right now, is because I'm also kind of listening in to see if maybe she has any issues, unless her mom decided that they should have a sleepover together tonight. So, if I'm hoping she did, because I think that would be better, because she loves her mom when she's sick, and that would make her feel a lot better. But yeah, that's the fun aspects of my week. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I was able to get most of the streams done this week compared to other weeks. We didn't have any issues, so we got to do some Yakuza and some FF15. Although, I don't think I'm going to be grinding in FF15 anytime soon, because I looked into where I am in the story, and we're pretty much done. So we'll probably... I'm not saying we'll finish it next week, but it's possible we might. So just prepping people for that. And then, yeah, we got some Yakuza done. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to do the podcast this week. Romney has something going on for martial arts, and unfortunately, with my daughter feeling the way she is, I'm probably just going to need to call it, which is sad, but that's kind of how things are these days. As much as I would like it not to be, real life comes a-calling, and you can't really avoid it. And unfortunately, my podcast is not necessarily the primary earner of money or anything like that, so it's kind of hard to justify when other things are going on. So don't take it as I hate the podcast and I don't want to do it anymore. It's that I've got to prioritize other things. Because there were actually a few stories that I wanted to talk about. And it didn't work out. But oh well. Not a huge loss. And I guess with that, let's kind of get into some of these stories, because I would love to give my thoughts on them, at least. Obviously, I won't rule out the possibility of Alex or Romney doing it, but I know that a few people have brought this up to me, and I guess I've got to approach it really quick. I don't know how much there is to say, however, but might as well just get this done. Here we are. And let me see if this is actually going to work. Okay, hopefully this is working for you guys. Yay! So now we have a whole new setup for this as well. Yeah, listeners brought this up to me quite a bit this week, and that is that Boogie2988 had a arrest warrant put out. He got to spend a few hours in jail in regards to the Frank Hassel incident. And my thoughts are that I hope the book gets thrown at him. Unfortunately, I am not the biggest fan of Boogie. I'm not the biggest fan of Frank either, but frankly, Frank, there's a lot of reasons that I just kind of don't care about this story, because Boogie just kind of, like he usually does, dug his own fucking grave. Because for people who don't know, he fired a warning shot at Frank Hassel, who, yes, was harassing him, but now we have more info basically pointing that it was all rigged, and that Boogie might have been playing it up. And he fired a shot into the air, which is something you just don't do when you own a firearm, and instead got an arrest warrant earlier this week for aggravated assault. And I don't feel bad for him in the slightest. I know that a few people, including Frank Hassel, actually came out and said, I hope he gets the help that he needs. And man, that'd be great. I don't think he will, because frankly, I think he is beyond any kind of help. He doesn't want to help himself. So as sad as that is to say, I'm glad that he is going to at least get some kind of punishment for this. But it's not going to be a big one. Like, I know some people have been screaming, he's going to get no, he's not. He's not going to get jail time. And frankly, if the prosecutor is pushing that, that is a very tough sell. Very tough sell, and he will have a very difficult time trying to get that across. So at that point, I kind of wish that he would spend a little bit more time in jail. Maybe he'd actually take a look at his life and realize that there are a lot of things he hasn't necessarily done properly. But, yep, I don't see really anything changing in Boogie's life in this regard. But there you go. That is my viewpoint on that story. Is just it sucks for Boogie, but frankly, he kind of created that situation himself. So what else can I say on the matter? Oh, I probably shouldn't do that, because then okay. I need to not do that now that I fixed everything. Yeah, so we took care of that. I know that a few listeners wanted to know if we'd seen that, and yes, we have. And maybe when we can do an actual podcast, we'll address it a little bit more, but there really isn't much that I can add to what is going on with Boogie. He'll figure that shit out. For people who were with me over at Rising Sun's Twitch channel, where he was playing some Nier, and I was just kind of going over some stories. Another thing that we could... So, oh, hello, Kasaibo. Welcome. So Boogie is officially a menace to society. Awesome. He always was. This was just the justifying moment to say that he was a danger to himself and others. That's all this was. I don't know how to say it any better than that. This was basically him proving to a lot of YouTubers that have known it for quite a while, is that he is a danger to himself and others. Not really a whole lot that can be done aside from that. Let's see. Some other things that we can get into. I know that people wanted my opinion on this one. Let me see if I can bring it up. Let's see. Okay. Is this the one? I don't think it is. No. Is this it? I should do, like, the Kevin Smith. So I was just barely talking about this on Rising Sun's stream, where he was playing Nier, and I was just talking about the events of the week. Let's see. Wow, I cannot find that image to save my life. Oh, here it is. Okay, cool. So, let's go ahead and do this, shall we? Let's do this again. Whee! So, this leaked. Hey there, J-Rock. So this is the unveiled art for the new He-Man that is being developed by Kevin Smith. For those who don't know who Kevin Smith is, if you've seen the movie Dogma or any of the Clerks movies or Jay and Silent Bob, there you go. Twitch always lags on my phone messages, never went through. Oh, it's all good, man. All good. So yeah, Kevin Smith is working on a He-Man series. Basically what he is saying is that it's the metal conclusion to He-Man, whatever he wants to say. But this image leaked that we're looking at, and I have lots of questions. So supposedly, this figure in the middle is Teela. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be honest about this really quick. I am not a fan of He-Man. I did not grow... Like, I grew up with it. I've seen some of it. I know the premise and the plot, but if you gave me a choice between watching He-Man or Transformers or Voltron, I'd pick those. Because that's what I'm interested in. But I am aware of He-Man. I'm also aware of She-Ra. Not big fans of either. Except for the Masters of the Universe movie. That is hilarious, and nobody will tell me otherwise. But yeah, so this is supposed to be the Netflix reboot made by Kevin Smith, and this is Teela. Let me see if I can actually showcase this. Oh, sorry, I moved this tab so you guys can't see it anymore. Let me fix that. I'm going to boomer this up for the first couple of times that I do it. There you go. So the figure in the middle is supposed to be Teela. And for those who don't know who she is, she basically in the series was a tomboyish character. That's the best way I know how to describe her. Because again, not a big fan. I think I'm spelling it right. There you go. Let's see if we can get a classic Teela. So this is Teela from the original series. Right there. So, yeah, it's very typical 80s kind of thing. And then this was Teela in the 2000 Cartoon Network reboot, which I've seen a few bits of it, and it actually is pretty damn good. I didn't necessarily have any issues with it. Wow, that is an image I didn't think I'd get. Crap. Okay, I gotta take that down. But yeah, this is the typical image of Tila that I have. She's like the daughter of Man-at-Arms, and she was basically kind of the every girl. She was the girl next door, for lack of a better term. I really ought to do this so that I'm looking at you guys, and that way it's not so detached. But yeah, so back to what we were doing. So this is this. Okay, I already have several questions. One, not even addressing any of the other characters in here. Where are her breasts? I mean, I get it, there's a breastplate, but I'm guessing this is Evelyn. I'm not sure, but that looks like kind of her getup. I mean, she's got kind of a Korra look, so she's not any better. But, like, you can tell she's got some boobles behind there. I can't tell anything like that with Tila. I can tell that with her, who's supposed to be, the rumor is that this is her girlfriend. So congratulations, we're checking it. We're checking more boxes. We're not interested in writing actual good stories. We're only interested in checking boxes and race changing and whatever they want to do. Yes, she is very buff. And I especially love that they went with the butch lesbo haircut with her. Bro, you were telling me She-Ra didn't look manly enough 20 minutes ago. You know what? Let's actually look this up, because I don't know. Our conversation was kind of fragmented because I don't know what She-Ra looks like aside from the old school impression. So let's see. So She-Ra. Okay, so this is classic She-Ra. And that's, you know, it's 80s. I don't have any issues with it. But so this is the Netflix one. I already have several questions with it. I can't tell, aside from the long hair, if that's even a girl. Yeah, I can't even tell. I gotta be honest with you. Okay, so this is, like, I'm guessing concept art. Yeah, this is very Steven Universe style, and I've never really attached to that. So, not really my cup of tea, but... And actually, no, the word I was looking for was androgynous. She's very androgynous. I can't tell if it's a guy or a girl, because that could easily be a boy with really, really long hair. You know, like, you know, if people remember Dexter's Laboratory, the fact that we learned the origin of Mandark's parents and that they're both freaking hippies, I mean, that could totally be the origin here. And aside from this sword, I couldn't tell you that this was She-Ra. Yeah, a distinct difference. Again, you're talking to a guy who really doesn't care, but I already can tell you, like, just given the animation, I'm not into it. But just to kind of bring people up to speed, I have since shared this image around to friends, family, and neighbors that I know liked He-Man and actually did like She-Ra at one point. And immediately the question that I get was, is that supposed to be a girl? If that's Tila, is that supposed to be a girl, or are they redoing Tila as a guy? Well, that's an issue. I don't know what to tell you. And from what I can tell in the rumors, like I said, so this is apparently a character that showed up in the comics, and is supposed to be her girlfriend. So, okay, well, I don't have a problem with that, as long as you do something compelling story-wise to justify it. If you don't, if you're just, you know, if you're just basically making her gay just because you need to make her gay and check a box, then I have an issue with it. Because that's not inventive writing. That's, at this point, I'm willing enough to say that that's creative bankruptcy at this point. Because you're not really doing anything that is going to get people invested in the character. People like Tila because she was like that every girl. She was Adam's friend, and then she eventually, I think at one point they even tried to do in the series where she had a crush on He-Man. And so that's an interesting character development that you can go into. I can't even remember what they did with her in the 2000s. Maybe the same thing. Maybe. I don't know. Also, is this supposed to be Orko? Wow, they've gone in a Kevin, you've gone in a very interesting direction when it comes to Orko. I mean, those are girly anime eyes. I can tell you that much. But it looks like you're kind of trying to do well, I mean, She-Ra did this anyway. Mandark is transgender. No, he's not. Although, funniest thing, his name is Susan. But he was the son of hippies, and he just kind of defied them in how he dresses. So the reason he looks like a nerd and that because originally, I guess, like, it's a funny episode. He had hair that was like down to his hips and all that, and so as an act of defiance, he cut it into the way that it was. Oh, and okay, I've got to check that out too. I guess I got to watch my transitions at least a little bit. But yeah, already I can see the issues here, but apparently Kevin Smith had to come out and make some statements in regards to it. Let me see if we have the statements here, and then we'll look at some of the other ones. Does this have the statements that he made? I don't think it does. Basically, he was trying to say that the series is actually truly metal, and that people will ultimately enjoy it. And then all of a sudden we have a flood of new images, which are what we're about to go into. So, I mean, right here we have He-Man and Battle Cat. I mean, it looks like him. I don't necessarily have anything with it. The thing I'm worried about is apparently the rumor is like the first 3 or 4 episodes, Adam/He-Man doesn't even show up. So if it's called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which I'm guessing it is, I don't know why that's happening. So, okay. Alright, so that's the Sorceress. I mean, she looks okay. Skeletor looks pretty good. I'll give them credit there. He looks pretty good. Adam looks like, when he looks like Adam, that's actually probably the direction I'd go. Okay, so this looks more like Tila. If this is Tila, that's fine. Okay? That's absolutely fine. Let me give kind of some context here. If this is Tila, then that's fine. If this is Tila, we have an issue. Already, I can tell you that there are going to be some He-Man fans that are going to be pissed. I'm guessing this is Beastman. And that looks good. Not sure who that is. But it is from the same studio that did work on the Netflix Castlevania, so, I mean, the animation's going to look good. It just depends on what you do with the story. So at that point, I mean, my overall take on this is that if this is what is happening, not the other images, you have a problem. How is Skeletor alive if he's bare bones? Don't question it. Don't question it. I think the 2000s series actually tried to give an origin to Skeletor, and I've never seen it. But that might be interesting to watch at some point. But then again, the only thing I've ever cared about with He-Man was the Masters of the Universe movie, because that was hilarious. I still like watching it when it comes on. When I was watching TV. I'm not really doing that anymore. So, yeah, that was one thing that was... I mean, I'm not a He-Man fan here, so if you guys have... let's see. So also He-Man looks like a girl to forgot that. That doesn't look like a girl, Bill. That looks fine. That looks like He-Man. That looks like how he's supposed to look. You know, he's supposed to be Hulk Hogan / Ultimate Warrior. That's fine. That looks fine. Even Adam looks good. Like, this is one thing that I like about the 2000 series, and what I saw was, like, they actually did a different image for Adam, or for Prince Adam, where he's a little bit more of a scrawny guy. That's totally fine as far as I'm concerned. I think that's actually a really cool identity thing, because in the 80s, they looked like the exact same thing. To me, it was like Superman. How could people not know Superman is Clark Kent when the only difference is glasses? Those glasses are fucking magic, man. How is it interesting for her to have a crush on He-Man, but being Leslie isn't romance, is usually boring either way. So why does it matter? Here's how it matters, Bill. Because what you basically just described is character development. And right now, Hollywood writers, including Kevin Smith, and some of the stuff Kevin Smith has applauded recently, post Heart Attack, has been not interested in doing character development, but instead checking boxes. What do I mean by that? Making a character gay just because they want to. Just because they're gay. Not because they have a really cool story behind them, or they go through an interesting character arc in the series that you're watching. They have nothing aside from they're gay. And I would guarantee you, go watch any woke television show or any woke movie, and you have that problem. And the other issue with that is that when you take characters like Teela, who have backstory and have an actual following behind them, if you have that, and then you just decide, oh, well, the only reason that they're interesting is because they're gay, that's not going to go anywhere. Because there's not really anything you can do with it writing-wise. They're gay, so that's all that's interesting about them. So I guess she'll go off with her girlfriend, and we won't really need to follow her. Whereas instead, I don't care if they make her gay. Honestly, I really don't. If you want to make her gay, fine. Go balls to the wall. Have fun with it. But make her an interesting character. Make her go through an arc that people can relate to. That's why people like Teela. Is that she, especially girls that I knew growing up, they liked her because she was an every girl. She was that every girl tomboy that pretty much every girl I used to know, aside from a few, were. Like, I didn't really know girly girls until I hit elementary school. Most of the girls I knew, including my own sister, were tomboys. And that's Teela. Even I kind of know that, and it's ridiculous. That's the reason I'm saying it's ridiculous is because you have this wonderful slate that you can work with, and all you're interested in doing is, well, she's black. Well, she's gay. Okay, tell a story around it. That's all I'm asking. Don't tell me how oppressed she is. Tell me how she's overcome that. That's it. Let's see. Armin looks like a skinny He-Man. Are you talking about Adam? Yeah, Adam is a skinny He-Man, and I'm okay with that. Don't make her a plank. Exactly. Don't make her blank. Do something with it. If you want to make Teela gay, cool. Make her a badass. You know, like, if Kevin Smith is saying, like, let's go balls to the wall with this, let's make this as metal as we possibly can, do it. But I can already tell you, and granted, I have not seen the series, so if you have an argument with my viewpoint on the matter, I will tell you right here and now, with the She-Ra that I just barely saw, one of my first concerns is going to be, what are her character traits? Granted, I don't know those. Do you have to tell a story around it, though? Yes! That's the whole purpose around this! Is you have to tell a story with the character. Do you have to tell the origins of why they're gay? Not really. But if you don't have anything other than that they're gay, that's not an interesting character. It honestly isn't. One of my most recent complaints that some people on Twitter got mad at me for is I roasted the writers for the current the Marvel comic Children of the Atom. Because all they pretty much did was race swap and gender swap characters that already existed. So you got a female Cyclops. Okay, but it's still Cyclops. So what really did you do to make it different? Also, the fact that while in there, they like to point out that apparently X-Men had been doing it wrong all these years. Well, I mean, X-Men has been around for quite a while, so I don't think they were doing anything wrong. Why has it got to be a big thing? What, the fact that they're gay? It doesn't have to be. But if you're not going to tell stories with them, or if you're not going to give people to relate to them other than they're gay, there's nothing there. Okay? I have a lot of characters that I like that have been gay. But I like them because they had compelling backstory behind it. I like the fact that they were a character in and of themselves and that their gayness didn't define them. That's my problem. Why does being gay have to define them when you could easily make them a badass in any other way? So that being said, like that would be a worry for me. But bottom line, if this is what they're going for, I have an issue. It doesn't really look like it, but I guess we'll find out. I mean, the rest of these images look all right. I'm okay with it. So that being said, hopefully I answered your question, Bill. If not, then we can continue to go about it. I really don't care. Yeah, I want characters that are compelling. Example, if you're going to make basically a gender swap of Cyclops, why not just make a new character that has Cyclops' abilities? Or maybe a different kind of power set. Like, don't just do it because you want to keep the character, but you just want to make him a girl. Or in the case of Gambit, they gender and race swapped. So she's a black woman. Okay. What was interesting about Gambit, though? Well, he was part of the Thieves Guild. He was Cajun. He was a little bit of a lover boy. He used to piss off Wolverine quite a bit. He had a huge fling with Rogue, which at this point in this comic's interpretation would have been a guy. That's what I mean. There's a lot of little pieces that you can add in there that will give them character depth. Just making Gambit a black woman doesn't really do anything. Instead, I think it might have been a better idea to just make a whole new character. If you want to have a similar power set to Gambit, okay. I'm okay with that. Like, here's the thing. Gambit, his thing was cards. So you could easily take something else as a fascination with this Gambit and say, okay, well, maybe she likes pencils, pens, or something like that, and that's what she throws. Okay, why does she do that? We know why Gambit throws cards. Now, I've never seen He-Man either. I just don't personally care. I don't see it as a big deal. I only see it as a big deal because it's been happening for a few years now, where we're not interested in telling good stories with good characters anymore. We're only interested in checking boxes and saying, oh, look, guess what we did? We filled all of these different boxes so that we have all these different kinds of people, but then we don't make them relatable. We make them blank slates. Which nobody can get behind. Hopefully that explains it to you. I mean, personally, another issue that I had with this comic was just the fact that, oh my gosh, they think that they've created this whole cool thing around the fact that mutants aren't hated in the X-Men universe. They're all embraced. Where's the conflict then? Part of the reason X-Men worked was because you had elements like the, oh crap, what were they called? The government agency that would hunt down mutants. That you would have protests where people don't understand mutants and therefore are afraid of them. That is something that can be written around. That is something where you can have Professor X come out and say, people fear what they don't understand, and that you can relate to it. A lot of kids related to X-Men simply because they felt they weren't understood, given whatever they were dealing with. And when they saw that speech from Professor X, they went, oh, I'm not that bad. Exactly. But we know why Professor X believes that, because we have backstory to be able to tell us that. We have backstory to be able to say what kind of a man he is. That's the difference. Hopefully I've articulated that. If I haven't, I can try and make that a little bit better. But that's more my issue. I don't care that she's gay. I care more on what are you going to do with her. Because to me, I would look at a character like Teela, and I would do exactly what the 80s series pretty much did, which make her a character that people can look up to. I'd put struggles around her, and I would make sure that she overcame them. And I'm not necessarily talking struggles of oppression or anything like that. I would make her an absolute fucking badass. I'd make her go out swinging in any fight that she went into. Like, the perfect example that I have here is Supergirl from Crisis on Infinite Earths. She went down, but she went down fucking swinging. That's the difference. That's what I would do, is I would build Teela to be a person that girls and boys could look up to. And if she turned out to be gay, then that's great. That adds even more depth to the character that I can work with, but I already have that basis of she's fearless, she's smart, she's kind. You know, like that every neighborly girl, tomboy. I have all of that to build off of, and then I can add in the gayness as an extra attribute, which can allow for me to tell more. That can work in that way. It's just not a great solid foundation. The foundation would be, okay, what kind of a person is Teela? What kind of a person is He-Man? Dude, if I could actually make it work, maybe, like, let's just say if we went the whole 9 yards and we did Teela as He-Man, or, you know, female He-Man, basically. Okay, I would find every way to be able to make her a relatable character. Somebody that everybody can understand because they've been there at one point in their life or another. I'd make them relatable, and then I'd tell stories with them. Okay, I'd put them in impossible situations, and I'd find a way for them to overcome it. That's it. I actually might do some kind of a draft now that I'm thinking about it. Now that I've got my brain going on it. I wouldn't do it with Teela because I don't know enough about the character. But I probably would do it with a character. I'd probably just start from scratch. I'd create a character because that's what I'd do. I think we pretty much hammered this, right? The other one that I kind of wanted to get into was, and again, you guys can have your opinion on this, but my opinion is pretty much where it is. Agree. I'd rather He-Man be gay, Demos. Well, I mean, how many memes have been done in that regard? That might be funny. But again, Adam, like, there's a lot of development there. So wouldn't that be interesting to be able to explore? And it just so happens he's gay. That's more the character I'm looking to create. Just so happens that they're gay, but there's so much more that we can get attached to. So, for those who are fans of Fall Guys, I have a little bit of bad news for you guys. Let's see. Yep, here it is. Fall Guys is indefinitely delaying their versions for Switch and Xbox. Which is sad for me because me and Andrea really liked Fall Guys. We were actually looking forward to a Switch version because then we could play it together and we wouldn't have to, like, you know, exchange controllers and all that. We could both be in the same game and have some fun with it. And so we're not happy about that. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to really find an article on this aside from a Yellow Flash video that got recommended to me today. But basically, let me actually swap this over and we'll bring this over. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm taking this as rumor. Because, again, I don't have the story, per se. I only have the recommendation from a Yellow Flash video. But along with the Fall Guys indefinitely halting development on Xbox and Switch, it looks like they're going to be starting up a new initiative where they're going to be educating gamers on the toxicity of the gaming world, being assisted by none other than Voldemort herself, Anita Sarkeesian. Seriously, how does this woman get work? She ran her own company into the ground. How is she still getting work? I don't understand. But, again, given what I know, given the rumor based around it, my impressions on it are very simple. Well, that's a crying shame. Both the fact that I really wanted Fall Guys to come out on Switch, and also that it looks like Mediatonic, the developer behind Fall Guys, is going the way of Naughty Dog. And I didn't like what happened with Naughty Dog, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip the middleman and probably be done with Fall Guys. I don't know, maybe I'll play it every now and again on a stream, but I'm guaranteeing you anything else that Mediatonic is working on, I now am going to be going over with a fine-tooth comb. Because I'm not doing these campaigns anymore. Especially not with a woman who ran her own goddamn company into the fucking ground. She has been proven time and again why she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's been disproven so much that she literally just takes any kind of debunking and calls it bullying. Which is ironic, considering that we were just barely talking about Boogie 2988. And the fact that she also was a fucking bully to him. The irony. I don't know why this woman gets work. But she does. So, yeah, that's a crying shame. The other thing that's also disappointing about it is that it looks like Devolver Digital is going to be going down that same direction. And that's disappointing to me because, again, I like Devolver Digital. I liked a lot of the games that they were putting out. And now I can look forward to them being woke pieces of crap. Enough said. I hope that they're not. I really do. I really hope they are. But unfortunately, there's enough of a track record for me to go, no, it's probably going to happen. That's a crying shame. Especially since Devolver, I think, was actually earning a lot of cred in the gaming world. Had a lot of good franchises under their belt. Enter the Gungeon comes to mind. Let me see if I can bring up their entire library. I don't even know what their current projects were. I think they were also behind the publishing of... Crap, what was that game that actually came out that... Where you are the alien, basically? You are the foreign infection? I can't remember for the life of me. But I was going to actually play it for a stream. I really liked it. What the idea that they were going with. So, Shadow Warriors 3. I know some people are into that. I know that they're also kind of reconsidering whether or not they'll keep going with it. Let's see, we also have Serious Sam. Looks like they've worked on that. They've worked on a Game of Thrones game. That's interesting. Bleak Sword, Heave Ho, Enter the Gun, or Exit the Gungeon. Yeah, the sequel to it. So yeah. Oh, Carrion. That was the name of the game. Carrion is the game that I was talking about, where you're playing the alien, basically. Let's see. Katana Zero. Oh, Rising Sun just barely recommended that. So that's a Devolver game. Oh, that's a crying shame. Let's see. Metal Wolf. my friend Pedro. Yeah, all this is just disappointing because now I get to look. Oh, The Messenger was also published by them, I believe. That's a crying shame. Because, again, what that basically means to me now is that they're going to be following the exact same pattern that any other company that has brought in Sarkeesian or Quinn or any of them. And we're going to start seeing crap from them instead of genuine games and genuine stories. Again, it's disappointing. I don't know why this woman continues to get work. She literally, like, I've seen her act years before she even came onto the scene. Where she immediately, as soon as anybody gives her any form of constructive criticism, she immediately goes to the victim stance. And says, oh, well, I'm being bullied because I'm a woman. Because of this. Because of that. Accountability. This woman does not know the meaning of the word. And that's an irritation to me. Bottom line, but I know that some listeners actually recommended it. This one will probably make the podcast if we can actually make it work in the next little bit, or in the following week, but just a crying shame. It really is. Let's see. Any other major things that we can get into? Those are pretty much the ones I had. I know that some people also let me know that Castlevania Season 4 is out. I'm waiting. Castlevania Season 3 was a lot to take in. So, and also I'm a little disappointed that they just barely said that this is the final season. They have another project, and apparently it gets announced in Season 4. But, like, this is the end. This is the end of Castlevania. Like, you could have done so many other stories with it. Oh, hello, Shake. I'm going to go ahead and just take care of this right now, guys, so just give me a second. Let's see. Okay. Nope, that's not what I want. I am already just going to take care of spam if I can, so thank you. Sorry, not getting spammed in this channel right now. Not when I'm, like, right in front of my PC. You guys can go up a creek without a paddle, as far as I'm concerned. So, what was I talking about? Can't even remember anymore. Cry Men Netley. It'll come back. Oh, yeah, Castlevania Season 4. So, yeah, Season 3 happened. It was a lot to take in. And Season 4 is going to be the end. And yeah, they might be going... I have a feeling they're going to basically try and do another games plot. If I were to take a guess, it's probably going to be Curse of Darkness. But I don't want it to be over. I like what they're doing. I absolutely like what they're doing. And so I might take a while before I see it. Go work on something else, because it's just... I don't want to see it end. That's my big deal. Let's see. Any other major news that has happened? Not really. Oh, Dave Bautista pitching Gears of War. Because of course he is. Dave Bautista, for those who don't know who he is, he plays Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's got kind of a double story here. He's trying to get out of Guardians Volume 3, which is kind of not surprising as far as I knew. Like, he was not happy about the James Gunn thing, and I know that he's also not been happy that James Gunn has since basically supported the very cancel culture that lost him his job. So I know Dave has an issue with that, but also the fact that I think he just wants to move on to other projects. So he was trying to get Marvel to recast Drax. And not only that, but apparently he got pitched a Fast and the Furious movie and doesn't want to do that. Instead, he wants to pitch a Gears of War movie. Okay. So I guess my first question is, so you want to pitch it, are you wanting to direct it? Okay, that's interesting. Are you wanting to play in it? If so, who are you wanting to play? Because something tells me that, you know, given Dave Bautista, he probably wants the lead role, and I don't know if I'd give that to him. Like, because if we're going to do a Gears of War movie, are we basing it on the continuity of the series? So would that mean he's Marcus Phoenix? I don't know if he really fits the part of Marcus Phoenix, but it's an ideal thing. Like, it could work. I don't know if I would be totally against it, but to me, put it simply, guys, this is Dave Bautista being Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista likes to be able to push a lot of this stuff, and I can tell, just given his various careers, he does get easily bored. And thankfully, with Guardians, he's had other projects to be able to get into, but now, probably because of the James Gunn situation, he's just very irritated. He doesn't know if he wants to go and do Volume 3. And at that point, I would say, if he doesn't want to do Volume 3, I mean, that's sad, because I do like what he's done with Drax, but if he doesn't want to do it, then that's going to affect how he's going to act in front of the camera. I don't want him phoning in Drax, if that makes sense. So maybe it's a good idea. What the fuck are you talking about? He got muscles. Batista's got muscles. I'm just saying, I don't know if I would, like, if he's pitching a movie, it might be a cooler idea to go somewhere else than the game stories, because game movies don't work out, especially if they're based on the plot. At least that's now kind of my viewpoint. Like, Hollywood has not done great by movies based on games. So, I mean, again, does he want to be Marcus Phoenix, or does he want to direct it? If he wants to be Marcus Phoenix, I mean, I'm not against it. I also think he probably would work as a good Baird. That actually might be funny to see him, like, playing the engineer. Trying to figure all this crap out, because Baird, like, I've only played one game, but Baird kind of gets the short end of the stick when it comes to a lot of stuff. It might actually be funnier, given Drax, to put Batista as Baird instead of Marcus Phoenix. I don't know who you'd cast as Marcus. The problem is, I don't know who you'd cast for any of these characters, because being able to try and find them, given the art style, I don't know if you could even do it. I don't think there's enough butch men that can do it. Speaking of Batista, I had a fever dream this morning where Batista wanted me to spam emojis to watch a 15-minute trailer for Army of the Dead. Okay. And did you do it? Because it sounds to me like you needed to do it. If you weren't willing to do it, well, that was on you. I will also tell you another genuine concern with Dave Bautista here is that, like I said, he gets bored fairly easy. So is he, like, if he's going to direct this, is he willing to deal with the possible development hell that this movie might get? I don't know. I have respect for Dave Bautista. He's a good guy. He's obviously done a few bad things in his life. That's fine. Not really, but, you know, he learned from them. He had a good wrestling career. He's also had a great film career so far. I got bored halfway through, but guys, we're digging a hole. Yes, we're kind of digging a hole, but yeah. Hopefully, if he's up for this project, then I hope he's ready for the long haul if he wants to be director. If he just wants to be Marcus Phoenix, it's going to take a while to get a Gears of War movie off the ground. Just saying. That's just the way it's going to go. Aside from that, oh yeah, I also need to address this really quick. So some people were disappointed that I haven't been playing Village on Monday and Tuesday. We're going to take our time with it. I know that the Twitch craze here and the YouTube craze is to just burn through the game as hard as you possibly can. And we've even done it to some extent. We did it with Death Stranding, but that's just because we kind of had to. It was pretty long. We want to take our time with this one. We were both very excited. Me and Andrea both were very excited to get Village, and now that it's here, we don't want to just burn through it. So it'll be back on Saturday. We still have other games that we want to work through. We're really close to beating, I think, the main campaign of Final Fantasy 15. So we'll get through that. And actually, question in that regard: do you guys want us to move directly into the DLC, or do you guys want to move us to move into another game? Because I'm good with either. It might be a good idea to go through the DLC, but I don't want people to get overly burnt out with FF15. And I do know there are other RPGs that you guys want us to check out, specifically the one that gets recommended a lot, Persona. So maybe we'll try and take that on, but if you guys want us to do it before the DLC, then, you know, obviously we need to figure that out. So let me know. That's also what I'd like to be able to do with these kinds of streams, is just be able to ask these questions of you guys. Let's see. Do we have anything else major that's going on? Not really. Oh, another director has been added to the Lord of the Rings series. That's interesting. Not a whole lot to go off of, though. Oh, and Psychonauts is officially on Xbox Game Pass. That's actually a really cool idea, because I know a lot of people who are excited about Psychonauts 2 and don't know anything about the first game. I don't really know a whole lot about the first game, but I kind of want to play it before I play Psychonauts 2. So I'm glad that they finally got that on the Game Pass for people to enjoy. Also, I want to bring this up to you guys. E3 has become a little bit of a conflict when it comes to my channel right now, because, geez, I have the hiccups now. Some people are not happy about the pay portal that we would have to do to be able to watch E3 events, and have said, don't pay them, don't do all that. But I know a lot of people like the fact that we've done podcasts that kind of go over the announcements at E3. And in order for us to be able to do that this year, we'd have to pay the pay portal. So, I don't know. We're still kind of bouncing that around. I'd love whatever feedback you guys have in the chat right now in regards to that. But right now, the way I see it, there isn't a whole lot to get excited about. I mean, Konami was there, and now they're out. Sony's not going to be there. Capcom, I believe, has already bowed out. I mean, there really is only one company I'm interested in, and that's Nintendo, because Square Enix also bowed. So at that point, I mean, a Nintendo Treehouse would be worth it, but a Nintendo Treehouse was also probably going to be, or a Nintendo Direct is probably also going to be on YouTube, so I don't have to pay for it. I don't know. Obviously, as we get closer, I'm interested to see if Nintendo's going to do that, or if they're going to hide behind the E3 pay portal. They might. If they do, that's going to be disappointing, but we'll figure out a way to talk about E3. That's going to be the bottom line of it. We'll find a way to talk about E3 and any important announcements that happen there. I have a feeling if it's going to be Nintendo related, that's probably going to be where they get into the 35th anniversary for Zelda. And I mean, they already have... Konami still makes games? Well, they do now. So I guess I got to bring Bill Asperger up to speed. They primarily make mobile and pachinko games, but they just recently announced that they're getting back into the game-making business when they announced that Getsu Fumiden is going to be getting a reboot, or a remaster, one of the two, for Switch. And they actually did schedule a slate on E3. And they pulled out because I guess they have stuff to show, but it's not far enough. But they did clearly say they have projects that are in the works that they want to showcase. We just don't know what those are. We don't know if they're new IPs or if they're old IPs. My guess is going to be they're old IPs, because people have been screaming for Silent Hill, for Metal Gear, for things like that, and they probably still want to milk those as much as they possibly can. But yeah, I'm trying to remember who's slated for E3 and who isn't. I know EA is, I know Activision is, and I'm not interested in anything Activision has to announce. Let's see, E3 schedule. Maybe that's... Actually, let's do this, because usually IGN kind of keeps up to speed on this. Let's see. Partnering with Summer of Gaming. What companies are confirmed and which ones are not? Here we go. E3 IGN. Hopefully this answers my question. No, this is the previous year. No, that doesn't work. So, who will be at E3? So, joining the list of presenters, so Square Enix is out. They've already said they're out. Sega has said that they'll be there. So that might be interesting if they have something cool to announce, because I think Sonic is up on his 30th anniversary. So maybe they have something. Bandai Namco has said they'll be there. Xseed Games. Gearbox will be there. And supposedly, I know that they'll be with Microsoft. I'm guessing we're probably going to get Gears 6. Because they said they had a number of Gears projects. Freedom Games. Turtle Beach. Yeah, let's see if we can get an actual list here. And yeah, Electronic Arts, Activision, they'll be there. I'm guessing, I'm not seeing it on this list, but Ubisoft will be there. So those three companies, I'm not interested in anything that they have right now. In fact, I was originally interested in Beyond Good and Evil 2, and given how Ubisoft has interacted the last few years, I am not really interested anymore. Maybe I'll play the first game and get back in there, but I doubt it. Again, given the companies that they're announcing, like Konami would have been an interesting one to see, just to see like what they would have done if they were back. Square Enix would have been interesting just to see if maybe they had anything in regards to Final Fantasy VII Remake Episode 2. Because they still haven't made an announcement on that. They're still being very quiet, very disturbingly quiet on that, might I add. Capcom not really going to be there, and that would have been probably a good time for them to announce what's coming next after Village. Specifically, if you had something like, I don't know, Street Fighter 6 to announce. They're not going to be there. The only one I'm interested in right now is Nintendo, and Nintendo is probably going to do stuff in regards to Zelda. Actually, they also might do stuff in regards to Pokemon, because they announced big stuff for the 25th anniversary of Pokemon. Wasn't Metal Gear Solid Survive poopy? It was. From what I understand, it didn't do very well, but Konami's back. I don't know why either, guys. I don't know. But they announced Getsu Fumaden, and now they've said that, they always wanted to come back. They couldn't justify it. And the way that they've basically explained their plan is internally they will be working on the stuff they're working on, so mobile games and pachinko games and things like that. But then supposedly if people have good ideas for their IPs, they can submit them. And they're saying they have several projects in the works, so I'm guessing somebody submitted something. I don't know what, but somebody has. And we're not going to know what that is because they dodged E3. Even if they had some teaser trailers, I think that would have been helpful. Because this would have been the year to get people on the Konami bandwagon, and they kind of missed that opportunity, didn't they? Absolutely missed it. Oh, well. That's the way it goes, I guess. So, yeah, we'll figure a way to be able to do it. I just don't know if I want to do the pay portal for it, so hopefully you guys don't mind that. And if it's just going to be Nintendo, then I can easily wait until that Nintendo Direct makes makes it onto YouTube and watch it there. Jeez, they'll probably have a Smash announcement too now that I think about it, but that's all I'm thinking that they could possibly have. Yeah, that's pretty much like a lot of the major news that we have right now. And like I told you guys, real life is just getting complicated because welcome to adult life. I get to pay for a new furnace and pay for a new AC. That's great. So that'll be happening next month. So it might affect streams. I don't know. But I will definitely keep you guys in the loop on what happens there. Because, yeah, it's going to be like a whole day where I've got to get the family out, including myself, and let them do their work. Because they got to replace everything on both furnace and AC, and hopefully that goes well. And unfortunately, I've actually got to look to call it because I got to make sure that my girl is okay, my little girl is okay, and then probably, if you guys can't see it behind me, I'm going to be sleeping on the couch tonight because if mommy has her with her, then I'd rather have it that way because then she'll go to sleep. But I'll go check in on her and make sure everything's good. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I know that it's been getting recommended quite a bit. And in case you guys didn't know, I was actually also on a live stream with Rising Sun while he was playing Nier, so you guys can check that out too. It should be officially on. I believe he archives his stuff, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you guys have, let me know. Maybe we'll do this a little bit more often. I actually don't mind the format if I can make it work, or if I can put on extra gameplay or things like that, I can do that too. But this is more of an experiment than anything, and that's why I had topics to be able to talk with you guys about, especially stuff that maybe we weren't able to get to in the streams of Yakuza and Final Fantasy. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for your continued love and support of the channel. I really do appreciate it, both on Twitch and on YouTube. And I'll wish you guys a good night. Take care. And once again, no podcast tomorrow, but we will be back on Saturday with more Resident Evil Village. Until then, take care.